Hello and welcome back, friends. This is Mikey, here to do something a little bit different today, and we're starting out with some main menu music that'll probably get this video copyright striked, but that's alright. I guess we'll find out when I upload it here, huh? So today we're gonna be doing some of my own challenges. I've created my own custom park. So if we go into the park creator here, we're gonna load it up right now. And what's kind of cool about Wave Break here is that it starts with some courses already preloaded in here that the developers created. I've played all of them, I think, now, but the one I was having the most fun with, I think, was the platforms one, where there's just a giant cube, a giant rectangular structure that shoots up into the sky that is hollow on the inside. So it's essentially just four walls that you need to wall ride all the way up, or you can attempt to wall ride all the way up. So it's pretty cool how they included that, kind of a unique thing, exploiting one of my favorite maneuvers in this game, which is something that plays a big role in the course that I created as well, which is why I wanted to bring it up. Let's go ahead and get into it. And it's been a little bit since I modified the course, as you can see, about a week ago now. I wanted to just kind of show it off, the different features, and try and conquer some of the challenges I've come up with for this course by myself. And yeah, just kind of show you what it's all about. So the thing about this course and just how it kind of ties into the skating mentality, skating vibe, is this course isn't 100% perfect, far from it, but it's got some pretty cool things that I enjoy, and I have actually spent a lot of time playing on this course, just messing around. It doesn't go towards my my funds in the game or anything like that, but I just made something that I would enjoy playing, and so we're going to test it out right now. And in the spirit of skating and just kind of making the best of what you have, turning nothing into something, I guess, is the best way I can describe it. When you see that curb that can be grinded, or when you see that nice stair set or staircase that can be tricked over, or whatever, that's kind of what I had in mind when I was creating this course. And then at least on the bottom level here, and then it gets a little bit crazy up top, as I wanted to add some more complexity to it. So that was my mentality going into it, and it just evolved from there. There's some pretty cool textures that you can place on the individual pieces inside the park. So let's go ahead and start from the left here on the bottom, and we'll work our way to the right. So it's kind of more or less in the order I created. I actually started with those ramps over there, but let's get into it here. This is the second thing I implemented. So this broken rail that allows you to get a gun, and it's just a short little rail you can grind up right here, and you just got to watch out for the gaps, make sure you continue grinding. So if I were to jump, you can grab that gun right there, crossing over that little, that little U-shaped rail there, and it's got a bit of an incline. It's not meant to be challenging, it's just meant to be there, that you can incorporate maybe into a combo, or an easy way to grab a gun if you're gonna fight co-op in this, or fight each other in this map here. All right, so another one, as you can see, there's a giant UFO with a high rail that goes all the way around it. That's one of the challenges that I want to complete here, which is the grind around the UFO. So it's not the first one I'm gonna do, but that's one of the challenges I'm gonna get into. Here's another feature, is this ramp with the, I don't know what they're called actually, but those things that give you a boost, I guess a boost pad. So it's a ramp with a boost pad on it that gives you health, and it takes you over into the other section of the level. So it's just kind of a fun way to jump in here and get that. And I missed all that. All right, so it gets you to the other side of the level here, which brings me to a couple other challenges, the ones I wanted to start with. So the first one is the big grind around the bowl. So this bowl goes all the way around, and you can grind that entire ledge, that entire lip there. So that's actually the first one I want to get into, and we'll kind of see what's around on the other side as we do it. So let's go ahead and try and attempt it here. So it looks a little bit easier than it actually is because the grind balance becomes increasingly hard once you get to the end here. And that was a bit of a sketchy ending, but I was able to get it, or at least good enough for, I guess, the unofficial challenge that it is. Alright, so the next one is, I want to, and we're going to step it up in difficulty a little bit here, I want to grind on the ledge and then wall ride on that tall wall right there. So it's a little bit trickier done than said, because as you can see there's a bit of a gap here. It's not 100% connected to that ledge, and actually that's one thing I like about it, is that you're almost jumping over it, but then wall running or wall riding and then jumping back in. So I'll show you what it looks like here. Not so much of a challenge as it is just kind of a cool maneuver. So let's go ahead and get into it, see if I can do it on the first attempt here. Alright, and so you saw kind of how it works there, and I just love when you get a nice placement and you can run across pretty much the entire length of the wall there. I think it's pretty cool to see, and I didn't actually get to grind back on the ledge, but I did drop into a nice little, they call them automatics in this game, but essentially a manual. So that was pretty cool. Nothing too crazy, like I said, just kind of a cool feature I wanted to show off. And so the next challenge that we're getting into is scoring a 100,000 point combo in the bowl here, or in the dual half pipes as I like to call them here. So these a little bit tough to transfer over, so it's a little hard to link those like with a simple spine transfer, because you can get stuck in the middle here. But there are some pretty cool things you can take advantage of, essentially as something like that. Or you can grind on the top walls that separate them there. You can incorporate the wall rides. You can get up on the billboard. So we're gonna mix as much as we can here into one giant combo and try and hit 100,000 in one trick or one combo. All right, so here goes. Let's go with my first attempt. And we're gonna do a mixture of grabs, flip tricks, all linked together with reverts, automatics, and grinds. Oh, all right. So it ended early. I wasn't able to get that revert into a manual. So we're just gonna jump right into attempt number 2 here. See if I can get it this time. And nope. All right. The timing on getting that sometimes is a little bit tricky. And again, I wasn't able to link it. That's all right. We'll get it. There we go, we killed it with a 156,000 point combo. I did incorporate as much as I could in there without bailing or without crashing into the water, and that was pretty nice. That was actually one of my largest combos, I would say, to date. So that was pretty cool to get that in a relatively small amount of tries. I'm sure there are some pros out there that you know, easily are scoring that much in a combo, but I'm excited to get that challenge done. Let's get into the next one here. We'll go into the other side of the course here on the bottom, starting in this corner. So we have a nice little what I like to call the street section here. So that was more vert over there, obviously, with all the ramps, but this is definitely a more street vibe here. You got these little, I don't know what you want to call them, little kickers, little ramps there. And you have a nice little S wall, or not even an S, but a nice little curved wall going into a straight wall that comes out the other side. So there's a lot of different things I've been able to do off this. You can take the ramps as is, do a trick off them, grind the little lip at the edge there, and take it into a manual. What you can do also is jump off this kicker to the side and hit one of these walls. Oops. Let's try that again. Or we can just start there. Wall, run up, transfer over, grind both. So it's kind of a freestyle section, and that's what I like about it is, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of something you might see in like an actual competition, you know, a quick like best one trick or something like that, you know. See, something like that. So it gives you a little bit of freedom in what you can do, and you can even link it. Oops. But yeah, you can even link it. You could take it, take the ramps one way, take the walls back the other way. I don't know, and this is something I would really like to see other people test out and actually see, you know, what interpretations they can get out of it. Some nice little combos they come up with, something like that. I think it'd be really cool to see that implemented into the game, even as a mode, maybe like best one trick or whatever. It'd be cool if you could section off the areas, maybe give like a 10-second time limit, something like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. Alright, so here's the next one, and this is sort of a challenge in itself. It took me a little while to get the timing down, but essentially to get up to the higher level and the rest of the course here, you do have to go off this ramp here, hit a wall slap, and then quickly turn around and clear this gap, which there is a ramp up there to do so. So here is what that looks like. Okay, so I've had a lot of practice doing that, but it's a little bit hard, a little bit tricky to get that timing down the first couple times you do it. And I made everything in this course I felt to be comprehensive, and so once you get up here, that's actually how you get to the grind around the UFO challenge, which is right here. You can see the rail starts right there. And again, this one I think is probably the longest grind in the level. I believe it's even longer than the lip there that we did earlier. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. Nice little tilt slide around the UFO. And there is actually a way you can get, there we go. You can get off and go onto the wall and jump into the vert section, you know, from that rail, which is pretty cool. But I thought it was a neat little thing to add that in, and I thought it was pretty cool that I was able to get that grind on the first try, because it's actually not that easy. So nice. All right, so next feature about this level is once you're here, you do got to be a little bit careful not to hit that that middle section there, because you can't do a whole lot from there. I mean, you can, but it's much easier if you're trying to get to the rest of the level by taking one of the side ramps here. And so this right one will take you into the bowl if you can get enough speed. So let's go ahead and try that. And there you go, pop right into the bowl, and this is really cool. I think it looks pretty awesome with this skin on it, and I forget what it's called exactly. But it's got a nice futuristic design to it, and there are a ton of tricks you can do in something like this. Again, something that would be great in that vert section down there, but lots of high scores you can hit in here. And not like that. Grinding around the bowl looks cool because you can see the city skyline there, you can see the course, and you can see the back of the poster that I put on there. So all those things are all pretty cool, and it looks awesome when you get some huge air off this ramp, because you can just see really, you know, the scope of how high you are in this level. It makes for great photo ops. Alright, so let's go ahead and get to the next part of the level here. We'll see if I can make it from here, but I may... Oh, I did, nice. I was gonna say I may need to get out of it and get back up here, but I was able to get over here okay. So one of the imperfections I was talking about earlier is these ramps actually don't lay flush like they should, and so if you come up this area too quickly, you kind of bounce off of them, so you got to be a little bit careful, but it serves its purpose. And like I said, it's just the beauty of an imperfect thing being used for, you know, maybe an unintended purpose. Alright, so here you go. You can see the top of, or the middle section of the level, I should say. We're going to get up to the top section, which has its own little surprises. So the key to doing this, there's actually two ways of doing it. One, you can wall slap, just like we did to get up here, but that method's a little bit harder. The easier way is to come up at an angle and actually wall ride, or wall run, I should say, into the glass section here. Watch, you're gonna see right now. Oh, and I ended up bailing anyway, so let's go ahead and get back up there. Alright, let's go ahead and try and hit that correctly this time. Alright, and that was better than anticipated. So you have a nice little section, like I said, you could wall slap over here. I actually broke them already, but there's this little glass wall that you break through. Don't forget to stop by the Pupper Bakery, by the way. Buy one, fetch one. And now you got a nice little freestyle section again. And emphasis on the little here, because it's pretty small, but it's got some nice little sections that I thought were cool and remind me of something, you know, you would play back in Tony Hawk. And sometimes you end up flying off the edge like that, and that's why it is difficult. You have to be a little bit careful, but I think it could make for a good challenge if you were trying to do like a score challenge specifically within that section. Because part of this game, actually a huge part of this game, is keeping your balance in something like a boat, which is very, very slick and very, very imperfect movements. And so speaking of imperfect again, there we go. This is actually slightly raised off the ground, which wasn't the intended look for it, but it actually works out well, because it allows you to fall on this edge pretty easily if you need, like I just did, leaving that blood spatter behind. I just wanted to grind these invisible rails. So the cool thing about these rails is that I don't know if it's an intentional thing by the developers or not, but when you put a grind rail on top of this material specifically, it doesn't connect to the bottom, so it just looks like a floating rail, which I think actually has a pretty sweet aesthetic to it. It definitely goes along with those futuristic vibes that this course gives off, or at least that those textures give off. Some huge air right there. Alright, so here's where the tricky part gets in, and this is the final challenge of the video here. We're gonna ditch our boat there for a second. Alright, so once you're in this section, this is the trick I've found to getting over there, because there's multiple ways. If you can get some huge air off this rail somehow, you are able to wall slap and then grind your way into the icy half pipes there. But I have a lot of trouble doing that consistently. There is also another way where you can wall run from that far wall into it, which is again very, very difficult to do. So the way that I've been doing it, and the way I can consistently do it is actually getting off right here the way I did in Bale, and then jumping onto this wall. So you actually do a bit of platforming. So let me show you how that looks here. And I may have trouble doing it, but if you can't, no problem. This is perfectly heightened to your double jump there. There's one, and then getting up onto this one. So the little imperfections actually worked out in my favor here. And once you're up here, now you can grind your way in there pretty easily as long as you aim it right. There we go. So with very little challenge there once you actually get up there, and that's the tough part. And I had to bail there so I didn't fall off. And now we are in the icy half pipe, which is the final challenge of this level, getting into the icy half pipe. And you know, we could do a score challenge in here. That wasn't meant to happen, but pretty cool, I guess. So again, along with the imperfections of how I built this course versus imperfections of the game, and just me clipping through that half pipe there, which actually doesn't normally happen. But as you can see, there are a lot of interesting features to this level, a lot of cool things to see. And let me know what you thought about the level. This is my first time making a level in Wave Break. This is my first time sharing the level here. Unfortunately, I would share the code so everybody could play it, but the thing is, you can't play it unless you visited it, I guess, from what I've heard. If you were to play online with me, it would give you the option then to download the course. But as far as I know, aside from that, you're not able to do so. So that is a bit strange. I hope there is level sharing in the future. I hope that you know, we'll be able to give different custom parks a chance to be shown to the world, a chance to play them. I think that's a pretty cool thing to be able to do that. I don't know if that is just a Switch thing, or if that is something that is still yet to be implemented, if it's on the roadmap for this game. I'm not really sure, but whatever the case is, I've been enjoying this game a lot so far. It's a little bit more difficult than I expected, and I'm, you know, fairly decent. At least I consider myself to be a fairly decent Tony Hawk player, which this game takes a huge inspiration from, if you haven't been able to tell, in the controls and just, you know, the move set, things like that. Obviously focused on boats. But yeah, I'd like to know what you think about the course in general, and what you think about my skills here. And yeah, if these look like actual challenges, if they sound like something that would be fun to try out. So yeah, leave anything down in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and you know what? Play Wave Break if you haven't. It's a pretty fun game.